We're taking a live look over downtown Troy at this hour as the site of the old Troy courthouse, once deemed an imminent hazard, is no longer considered dangerous to the public.
Gwyneth Falloon following the story again for us tonight. She's here live in studio. And Gwen, not even a month ago, the county determined the site was unsafe and a serious hazard. What changed?
Well, Adam, on March 27th, an adjudication order was given based on one report saying the building was presenting imminent danger to the community. However, two new reports have recently been submitted contradicting that determination. Development Director Richard Osgood tells me the additional reports initially could not be used.
We couldn't consider them until they were formally submitted by the City of Troy. The City of Troy is a client jurisdiction. The Miami County Building Department does building code enforcement for the City of Troy. So they needed to make a request that we consider those or review those engineering reports to come up with a determination on whether or not there is imminent risk of collapse.
So Gwen, what happens now?
Adam, according to Osgood, the county's work is pretty much done. The owner now needs to make repairs, but the new reports state there is no risk of collapse. Osgood says things like cleaning and some brick repairs need to be made, but there is no timeline as there is no risk right now. Back to you.
Gwen, thank you. Well, tonight we are learning the names of the two victims from last week's double homicide in Darke County. Police say 57-year-old James Donnelly and 63-year-old Michelle Phipps died after being stabbed. Police were called to the scene after a hang-up call to 911. This man here, Adam Uchin, came outside, spoke to police saying he made the call because of a theft and the perpetrator left. Police took Uchin at his word and didn't enter the home. He is now being held in a jail in Chicago while he awaits extradition. This case remains under investigation.
Well, take a good look at this girl you see behind me. This teen went missing in Georgia and may be in the Dayton area right now. That's according to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. 16-year-old Miracle Parks was last seen in Columbus, Georgia in August of last year. Parks is 5'4", about 150 pounds, has brown hair, hazel eyes. If you know anything about where she is tonight, contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, 1-800-THE-LOST.
A live look tonight from the Miami Valley Jail's website here behind me as this man right here, 30-year-old James King, is now accused of a homicide at an apartment building in Urbana. King faced a judge for the first time today. Now he's now being charged with murder and having a weapon while under disability. Bond is set at $1 million. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for Thursday.
Right now, University of Dayton police are investigating a reported burglary and sexual assault. They say it happened Saturday morning in the South Student neighborhood. Mamie Boss spoke to students who expressed their concerns.
Students here at UD are shocked and saddened. We do know that this happened in a student neighborhood. Those who live there telling me it's scary. On Saturday, the University of Dayton sent this to students saying a man entered a woman's home about 4:45 in the morning. Investigators say that person was carrying a bag resembling one used by DoorDash delivery drivers.
Terrible, and it's sad, and you never want it to be a part of your campus. When something happens like that, it's never like everyone's jumping for joy or anything. Like, everybody's pretty down about it.
The university did give me a statement. It reads in part, the university takes reports of sexual assault seriously and investigates thoroughly. The incident from Saturday morning remains under investigation by UD's Department of Public Safety. Now, when it comes to that student neighborhood where this happened, the University of Dayton will not disclose at what home specifically and if that property is owned by the school. Back to you.
Well, it was a chilly one across the Miami Valley for today. Highs only in the 40s across the area. Lower 40s off to the north. Got into the mid 40s for our southern counties. The good news is that today is the coldest day of these next 7 days. So we just got to get through today. Other than that, we already have improving conditions. Skies are starting to clear across the area. And by early tomorrow morning, we actually start to see some sunshine. So we'll start out with 30s as you wake up tomorrow morning. We warm up nicely into the upper 50s, close to 60 degrees with a lot of sunshine in the forecast for us. So still below normal as we head into the day tomorrow, needing a coat in the morning and a light sweater as we head into tomorrow afternoon.
The 8 officers who shot and killed Jalen Walker after a car and foot chase in Akron will not face criminal charges. A grand jury declined to indict them. Walker's death triggered protests in Akron after body camera footage showed him dying after being shot over 40 times. Police say he fired a shot from his car 40 seconds into that chase.
The grand jury concluded that the officers were legally justified in their use of force. That does not resolve any potential civil action that might be brought for wrongful death.
Authorities say Walker represented a deadly threat. A handgun was found on the driver's seat of his car. Akron's mayor explained why he is sticking by the jury's decision made earlier today.
And while I know this may not be the outcome that some members of our community may have wanted, I want to reiterate that this investigation was handled completely independently. An outside agency undertook the investigation of Mr. Walker's death from beginning to end.
Now, Akron's police chief, Steve Milet, said that they will begin their internal investigation into what happened. They'll provide those findings when they're finished.
Protesters took to the streets after that ruling was announced. It comes after the grand jury made the decision after spending a week reviewing the evidence in the case. Police union officials say the officers thought there was an immediate threat of serious harm and that their actions were in line with their training and protocols.
State leaders also taking to social media tonight in response to the Summit County grand jury's decision. Lydia Bice tracking it all from the Now Desk. What have they been posting, Lydia?
Well, Senator Sherrod Brown took to Twitter this evening saying that the Walker family has lived one of black parents' worst nightmares over the last year and that today's verdict only adds fresh pain. He is also calling on the Department of Justice to continue to investigate in order to give the Walker family some closure. Next, Ohio Representative Amelia Strong Sykes from the Akron area provided a statement on Twitter this afternoon. In the statement, she says, quote, "We've seen it too many times. A routine traffic stop ends in death, and a family and community mourns the life of a son, a brother, a friend, a neighbor. As this country and community reckons with another tragic death, we find ourselves yearning for a justice system that protects us all." Moms Demand Action tweeted, "Jayland Walker should be alive today. In his honor, we recommit to fighting for an end to police violence." And lastly, Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost tweeted that after more than a week of testimony and evidence, today the Summit County grand jury declined to indict 8 Akron police officers in the death last year of Jayland Walker. Back to you.
Lydia, thank you. Of course, we'll continue to update you on this story, and as soon as we receive any more information, we'll let you know. But for right now, head on over to Dayton247now.com for the very latest. You can find this full article on our homepage.
The 85-year-old man who shot a black Kansas City teenager at his front door will face felony assault charges. 16-year-old Ralph Yarl was shot twice after his family says he accidentally went to the wrong address to pick up his younger siblings. Yesterday, Yarl was released from the hospital and is recovering. The suspect, Andrew Lester, is facing charges of assault in the first degree and armed criminal action. Clay County Attorney Zachary Thompson is assuring the community that the criminal justice system is working and will continue to.
In Clay County, we enforce the laws and we follow the laws, and that does not matter where you come from or what you look like or how much money you have. Everyone is held to the same standard.
According to court documents, Lester told police he lives alone and had just gone to bed when he heard his doorbell. He said he picked up his gun, went to the door where he saw that teen pulling on the door and thought someone was breaking in.
Take a look tonight at the Louisville Metro Police Department, saying Officer Nick Wilt remains in critical but stable condition. Wilt was one of the officers who was injured responding to last week's Louisville bank mass shooting. The 26-year-old officer shot in the head. This is him here behind me. Wilt had just graduated from the police academy 10 days before the shooting, where 5 people were killed and more injured. The shooter was identified as 25-year-old employee Connor Sturgeon. Sturgeon was shot and killed by police later that day.
Happening tomorrow, Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw is testifying on the East Palestine train derailment. He's speaking before the Ohio Senate Select Committee on Rail Safety. That derailment happened back in February, leading to a controlled explosion and release of hazardous materials into the area. Shaw has repeatedly apologized for what happened and pledged to make things better for residents. Also happening tomorrow, the search will resume for 2 Indiana University students who went missing on a lake this weekend. We've learned one of them is from the Cincinnati area. Luke Jones has been tracking all the developments as search crews work to recover his body.
20-year-old Aryan Vaidya had his whole life ahead of him until a Saturday afternoon trip to Monroe Lake, about an hour south of Indianapolis.
was a group of about 20 friends who had rented a double-decker pontoon boat.
At some point, Lieutenant Angela Goldman with the Indiana Department of Natural Resources says they decided to go for a swim a few hundred yards offshore. Veja jumped in first, but soon ran into problems.
Some of the friends jumped in to help him, and ultimately both he and one of the guys that jumped in to help did not make it back to the boat.
Veja and 19-year-old Siddhant Shah from India haven't been seen since, and 2 days of searching with divers and sonar imaging have turned up nothing. The high winds and choppy waves on Monroe Lake making a difficult job all that much more difficult.
The boats are taking a beating, the officers are taking a beating.
Despite the obvious challenges, search crews are vowing to carry on. In Cincinnati, I'm Luke Jones.
Time is running out to file your taxes, and with April being Financial Literacy Month, we talked to an expert about how to be more responsible with your money.
Also, opening weekend at Kings Island leading to an arrest. What we know about what happened tonight.
Here's a live look from our Eco Plumbers Sky Cam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Well, tomorrow is the last day to file your taxes or get an extension, and it is also Financial Literacy Month. Milena Brown spoke with local economists to discuss how to be fiscally responsible.
Financial literacy is used to describe the ability and understanding to make smart choices with your money. And with rising inflation, it's very important that people pay attention to where they spend and how to save. A study conducted by the National Financial Educators Council last year found that financial illiteracy cost American adults an average of $1,819.
Especially right now, stay out of credit card debt. And if you're in credit card debt, do whatever you can to start paying it down.
And with tomorrow being the last day to file your taxes, a lot of people are able to use different free file options on the IRS website or use another online service like TurboTax. If you need more time, you can also apply for an extension, which will give you up until October 16th to file. For Dayton 24/7 Now News, I'm Milena Brown.
A story from our partners at the Dayton Business Journal tonight. An out-of-state defense contractor wants to expand here in Ohio. So we don't know the name of the company, but here's what we do know. The aerospace and defense contractor is looking at downtown Dayton, seeks to invest about $1 million. The company is negotiating a 10-year lease, hoping to begin renovations in August and be open by October. It's being called Project Wonka and could create at least 15 new jobs. And we have more information if you'd like to read about this story at Dayton247now.com. And you can find that story and others like it under the Dayton Business Journal heading in the News tab.
Well, it was a cloudy and breezy day today. We saw some showers around, even a few snowflakes around the region too. This is our area of low pressure now heading off to the north and the east, and we'll continue to see clearing skies as we head into the rest of the evening as the storm system continues to head out. It overall brought that colder weather into the region today, but the good news is that we warm up pretty quickly. So for the rest of the evening, we'll see clearing skies, waking up to 30s by early tomorrow morning. So chilly start. If you do have any sensitive plants out there, you may want to bring them in and protect them just in case, because we will be hovering around that freezing mark. Back into the upper 50s, close to 60 degrees. By Wednesday, we start out in the 40s, but notice by Wednesday afternoon, back into the 70s, and that's with some more sunshine.
We're learning more tonight about the investigation into a crash that landed Buckeyes offensive coordinator Brian Hartline in the hospital. Investigators say he was riding in a side-by-side vehicle on his property in Delaware County when it flipped over. Hartline was released from the hospital just today. Right now, no charges have been filed, but lawyers say they could be. However, it's a bit tricky. Stephanie Dupre has the latest on that investigation.
It's going to be complicated because there's another passenger who allegedly was injured as part of the accident. And I think that may get the attention of a prosecutor.
Doug Funkhauser, a defense lawyer here in Columbus, says in Ohio, if someone is charged with an OVI and another person is involved in that accident.
If you're OVI and somebody gets hurt, technically in Ohio, it can become a felony very quickly. Yeah, there's no separation in Ohio for whether or not you're on public or private land.
Delaware County Sheriff's Office released the incident report as well as the 911 call. You can hear Jamie Hartline speaking to the operator.
Do you know who it is? It's my brother, Brian, or another man, Josh. Have they been drinking? Do you know? Yes, they have. Okay.
And body cam footage of officers getting to Hartline's home along Perry Road. The video starts with an officer walking up to a group of people in a field surrounding a man lying on the ground. You can see the side-by-side flipped over. Faces in the video are blurred out, but we did learn Joshua Gaylor was the other person on it. OSU tells us Gaylor has no affiliation with the school.
A teen has been arrested during Kings Island's opening weekend after police say he had a gun just outside of the park. Now, the 17-year-old was arrested on Saturday after a guest reported suspicious activity. Now, Kings Island temporarily suspended operations in the action zone area of the park as a precaution. Nobody was hurt out of this. The teen faces receiving stolen property, obstruction of official business, and a gun charge.
The Minnesota officer convicted in the murder of George Floyd will stay in prison for the next 22 years. A court of appeals upheld Derek Chauvin's murder conviction. Chauvin's attorney tried to get that conviction thrown out. The appeals judge says the panel's decision shows that no one, even an officer, is above the law.
Live pictures over the New York City skyline tonight. This is the city's mayor is calling today's House committee hearing on violent crime a Republican stunt.
It's a Republican Party that is stopping sensible gun laws. It's a Republican Party that is preventing the proper support and ensuring that police agencies across this country is receiving the necessary support that they deserve.
The House Judiciary Committee is looking into the Manhattan DA's actions and if they've led to an increase in crime. Now, a speaker with the Gifford Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence says about 92% of the guns used in crimes in New York City come from outside the state. The mayor says other states and the federal government need to step up, but says the GOP has not been working on solutions to keep people safe.
Meanwhile, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan says crime is up in Manhattan due to Democratic leadership.
In this country, justice is supposed to be blind, regardless of race, religion, or creed. However, here in Manhattan, the scales of justice are weighed down by politics. For the district attorney, justice isn't blind. It's about looking for opportunities to advance a political agenda.
Jordan says Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg stopped prosecuting certain crimes that made the city more dangerous. Bragg is prosecuting former President Donald Trump for 34 counts of falsifying business records. Jordan is currently being sued by Bragg, who accuses the congressman of interfering in the Trump case.
Live look over downtown Dayton from our Eco Plumber Skycam tonight. It is cold, but warm weather is on the way. Let's check in with Natalie.
Well, it was a chilly one for today, but the good news is that today, the coldest day over these next several days, in fact, the next 7 days, as we do have climbing temperatures in the forecast. By tomorrow, in fact, we'll get close to 60 degrees. Check out Thursday, close to 80. Now, we do have clouds that will build in by our Wednesday, Thursday timeframe, but still pretty nice weather. It's not until Friday, Saturday, rain will make its way in, and then notice how temperatures start to cool. We'll eventually be on the cooler side, with our overall temperature outlook looking below normal as we head into the longer term by these next 6 to 10 days. So next week's looking a little bit cooler again.
The GOP's plan for the debt ceiling has been revealed. Reaction to what it is next and what it could mean moving forward.
Gas-powered cars will soon be a thing of the past. At least that's the plan. Coming up, we're going to take a look at this climate goal and the challenges it may face. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. A live look at the Capitol building tonight, where Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell returned for the first time since he was injured nearly 6 weeks ago. McConnell was treated for a concussion and a fractured rib after he tripped and fell while attending a dinner in early March. He was released from rehab last month and has since been recovering at home. The 81-year-old Kentucky senator appeared to be in good spirits, saying he was very happy to be back.
I want to thank all my colleagues for their warm wishes shared over the past few weeks. Suffice it to say, this wasn't the first time that being hard-headed has served me very well.
McConnell is expected to work a full schedule in the Senate this week. It comes amid a busy stretch for Congress as lawmakers discuss raising the nation's debt ceiling and negotiate additional aid for Ukraine.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy revealed the GOP's plan for the debt ceiling. Their idea is to extend it into the new year, and it comes as they look to raise the limit on the condition of capping future spending increases to 1%. Now, he laid out his plan during a speech in front of Wall Street investors this morning. McCarthy made his pitch, highlighting what he says is out-of-control spending. Now, Democratic leaders say those remarks are nothing new.
We are seeing in real time the effects of reckless government spending, record inflation, and the hardship that it causes.
He went all the way to Wall Street and gave us no more details, no more facts, no new information at all. I'll be blunt. If Speaker McCarthy continues in this direction, we are headed to default.
President Biden and McCarthy have until June to iron